Hello to those listening. This is an orator here with the freest of speech. And for like the last week, I've heard the news keep talking about these tweets that Donald Trump did against this Mexican American judge. And I really wasn't going to say nothing about this before because in one of my previous videos, Why Donald Trump is Winning, it pretty much explains why Donald Trump has the support he does and the shenanigans that are surrounded by a lot of things that happen to him because of the fact that Donald Trump, just by, I would say, the fact that I've talked to a lot of Trump supporters, they say that Donald Trump speaks like a regular person. He doesn't talk in that flowery politician language where at any given time, the minute people don't like something you said, you can take it back or just say or try to twist it so that that's not really what I mentioned. And he talks in plain speak, and that's why Donald Trump is liked by people. Now, about these tweets thing, and the reason that I actually decided to make this video is because if you see here at this CNN website, the links below, you can watch the read if you like, if you really want to. It's a bunch of shenanigans and garbage to me. It's just the special interest groups, which are the Democrat Republican parties, the biggest one in the American system, just engaging in their stupidity. But we have here in this CNN article that also has a video attached to it about an interview that Mitt Romney was doing. One, I don't understand why these people listen to the person who just lost. He's a loser. He lost. If he had good strategies to win, then, well, then he would have been a president. He didn't. Why they listen to him, I don't know. But it goes back to Mitt Romney saying that this is racist and bigoted. And look, I can throw shade at him saying, hey, you're a Mormon, and within your lifespan, your religion just now said that African Americans, because that's a proper term, even though I don't personally like it, people were going to be slaves in goddamn heaven according to your religion. I'm not going to go down that road. But what I am going to do is, because they want to keep calling Donald Trump racist, I'm going to go to one of my favorite places. If you see any of my videos, you know I go to the dictionary a lot. And I go to the dictionary a lot because I like the definition of words. Now, instead of looking at racist, which is just a person who is, well, a racist, I'm going to look at the word racism. I'm pretty sure I've done this before, but again, it applies. The definition is poor treatment of or violence against people because of their race. The belief that some race of people are better than others. I'm gonna go down to the full definition and read the first one. A belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacity, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Now, I went here to read this definition because I need to make sure we put everything in the proper context. Now, in the Daily News article, they write another article about, and headline says Donald Trump amplifies racist attack against Hispanic judge overseeing Trump University lawsuit starts smearing Muslim justices too. Now, this is what they say is racist. They say Donald Trump is smearing them because they're judges, they preside over cases. Now, the thing is this: when you look at the tweets that Donald Trump made, the tweets were made after he lost his judgment. And if you've seen the news, anytime somebody doesn't get their way, it's always, I mean, hell, look at after Obamacare was upheld in the Supreme Court. The conservative justices are traitors. They need to be put in Guantanamo Bay. Some people say they need to be murdered and killed. When Roe versus Wade is upheld, and all the pro abortion people say yay. The anti-abortion people say these judges need to be strung up. When an abortion mandate is taken away, then it's these guys are traitor to the country and hate women and need to be killed. You see the point I'm making here is that people normally react negatively when they lose lawsuits. But the thing about what Donald Trump said in the article, it has a nice little snippet of what is really important here. And the phrase is Mexican heritage. Now, the reason I'm zooming in on this is because if you read the article, they'll talk about the guys born in Indiana. Being born in Indiana doesn't mean anything. I've known plenty of people who walk around saying, I mean, hell, like Puerto Rico's my country. They live in fucking New York City. Never seen Puerto Rico in their life. I know people who say Africa is the best place of all time and never put step foot on the continent at all. People can live in other places and link to a heritage or a culture somewhere else. Now, the thing about what Donald Trump said in his tweet is that the judge is showing bias against him because of his Mexican heritage, because Donald Trump wants to build a wall. Now, everybody turns around and says this is a racist thing. Donald Trump is being racist. But here's the thing, there is no group of people called Mexican. There is no Mexican race. Most last time I checked, these people pretty much took the title of Hispanic. He didn't say his Hispanic heritage, he said Mexican heritage. Now, you say he'll be a little xenophobic, or maybe just him just being a dick, but there's no racism there because Mexican is not a race. And of all these people who ran around saying he was racist, the one thing the entire week I've never heard one person step up and say is, we looked through the judge's history and he has shown no inherent bias for Mexicans over other people. Because that's all you have to do. Present him with the data, and then I'm pretty sure Trump will sit there and say something like, well, it's a good, well, something that's a good thing, and that he's not showing this kind of bias, and that's the way judges should be, and, Constitution, yay. And then he'll say, don't need to talk about the case no more, let it do its thing in court. And that'll be the end of that. And now he's also saying the same thing with Muslim judges. Again, he's accusing Muslim judges of bias. And here's the thing about Muslims, being a Muslim, being Islamic, they're religions. You can't be racist against a religion. You can only be against the race. And here's the thing, being against a race doesn't mean you're afraid of it. So calling him Islamophobic would be wrong. I mean, let's be serious. There, people hate things all the time. I mean, personally, I don't like bacon. I'm not baconophobic. Same principle applies. If anything, he's against the Muslim religion and he's against Islam just like a hell of a lot of people in this country. Now, all that to say this, American media is garbage. It is pure garbage. You see, what the media is supposed to do is give people information and then allow them to make up their mind afterwards. In other words, it should be, this is what happens, and then you can say, this is my opinion on what just heard. This way, allowing people to come to their own conclusions. But that's not what we do here. That's not what the media wants to do. They want to sensationalize. Everybody have heard the phrase before, if it bleeds, it leads. People want to know why people are so much more paranoid than they used to be because the news makes them that way. I mean, just an example, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Throughout the week, I would be talking to somebody, and we was talking about things, and it was, we was talking about places we've been, right? And I always talked about how when I go to the South, people will leave their doors open and walk away, and it's like, are you kidding me, man? It's like, what the you doing? And they look at me like I'm crazy because I'm from the North, and I, if I don't lock my door, I will stop whatever I'm doing and turn right back around and come do it. But all that is to say this: the difference between the two situations here is that in those areas where I was, there were very few people. I mean, people, everyone, you damn near know everybody there. So their little local media was just nothing that special. It was just innocuous things and blah 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 blah. But when you got cities where you have hundreds of thousands and even up to millions of people, and the only thing you want to harp on is the negative things that happen, this is why when I was down there, and the person said the same thing, is that when we left the cities where we come from to these nice small little towns and everything, we look we are odd to them. We're abnormal because their normal isn't what we're used to because we are bombarded 24/7 by things that you're supposed to be afraid of, things that you should be wary of, and all these other fun stuff. And this is what we have in Donald Trump. Donald Trump talks like a regular person. The news will snatch that up and then tack on whatever label they want. And it is so easy to make people believe things because, like the old saying, a lie becomes a truth if you tell it enough times. This was an orator with the fiercest speech. Thanks for listening.